Can we not do it horizontally? No? So they want it horizontal? They like it vertical then? Okie doke. Chris, take this around for a minute or two.
Could the corner you just put on the camera?
Dominic.
Kirsty E Smith in writing, but it does sound a bit pretentious when you say it. But there's quite a lot of Kirsty Smith. So I'm the Kirsty E Smith. Okay, the way I'm going to do this is at any point you can wander around, and there's a rolling slideshow there, which there's 57 slides, but they go quite quickly, and they're in batches. There is a logic to them, and it will become more obvious, I think, once I've rolled through some of the things I'm going to say. So, because I don't like standing still anyway, we will walk through the gallery, probably more than once, so nobody gets a good space or a bad space, hopefully.
Can you all hear okay? Yeah. And you can stand close.
Oh yeah, because I have to run around a bit. This is not proper notes, these are just bullet points, because I do have a tendency to go off on tangents. However, that is actually quite an important part of my art, because a lot of my influences are very tangential. So it's not a linear process. Okay, so welcome to my creative cave. And quite often people sort of ask me, what am I about? As a quickie, I'll say I tell stories. That's my quick answer. But they're, as I just said, non-linear stories. It's another way of telling stories through materials and shapes and memories. And the memories quite often are very personal to me. But it doesn't always matter because they seem to work for people of all ages, from my experience. And I've been working as an artist for 10 years now, as an exhibiting artist. When I was a little girl, I was called the Why Girl, which I really hated. It was quite upsetting, but it has stood me in good stead because I genuinely ask questions all the time. Why this, why that, why the other? And I think that's what my art is about. So, why make the beings is the first question. I call them beings, by the way. Maybe we should start. Some people would call them sculptures, I would call them beings. I've always called them beings, even if it doesn't sound very fine art. Because to me they're little characters, they've got personalities, and they seem to speak to other people a little bit as well. But people say, well, what do they do? And at that point I get annoyed, because you wouldn't ever ask what a painting or a flat thing on a wall does. And as far as I'm concerned, they do the same as a painting or a flat thing, but they're not, they're 3D. I'll go on later on. Somebody also mentioned to me a while back, I think he got it right actually, he said, I think they're all facets of your own personality. Yeah, maybe they are. I don't normally wear frilly things, but I like sparkly things. I am wearing sparkly just now, and I did have a sparkly kitchen floor, but yeah, they are facets of my personality. I think that's true. They definitely like to go places that I like to go, and that's something I started to do properly 3 years ago. Take some of my bigger sculptures, beings, on trips and photograph them. One on Scunthorpe on the beach with donkeys, another one actually in Scunthorpe. So they like to go places that I like to go, which kind of leads me on a little bit to why this show happened and why it's about Creswell Crags. So I did actually find some notes that I wrote to Dominic Mason, the exhibitions officer here, in January 2014, which did say, oh yeah, Miwawa wants to go to Creswell Crags. And at that point I was thinking of a photograph. On the slideshow you'll see later on, Miwawa is 2.5 meters wide. And she's being photographed in a meadow in Lichfield with some cows. But I thought she'd like to go to Creswell Crags. And I hadn't at that point been. If you don't know Creswell Crags, it's near Worksop, and it's a kind of very shallow valley, and it's 120,000 years old. But there are 20 caves in this little valley, and in total. But you can get into at least 2 of them, and it's had quite a lot of attention recently because they found the oldest cave art in the UK there. They're not as exciting as you might expect. It's not as obvious. You have to really look at these cave art. But it doesn't matter. I love the idea of caves. I love the idea of who did this cave art. Miwawa and I would have liked to have gone. So I did go. I'm going to skip this a little bit. I'll tell you later on if you really want to know the secret bit. So I say, what's all this about? Because I've said, and if you read any of the essay or on the internet or any little captions about the show, I say it brings together Neolithic man, sci-fi, time travel, there's a bit of disco in there too. It's just this idea of visitor centres for a start, and you go along and you get told all these facts. Well, when Dominic, my son, was 5, we went to Stonehenge, and he walked around with his audio tour on in French. Quite right too. Couldn't speak French, doesn't really matter. And so, do you need to be told how old something is and who definitely drew it, and that it's definitely a picture of a bird or a lady with big breasts or whatever? Or maybe that ancient astronaut theory is actually true. And maybe actually aliens, time travellers have been and done that. I quite like I like to spin things up a bit. So my idea is to spin a story into something more exciting, personally. Do you want to be sucked in a bit further? Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Could be interesting, but that's better fun. I'll suck it this way. One of the visitors who came last week, he just got quite excited. Obviously I liked him, because I get excited too. And he said, oh yes, it's that Eric Von Daniken thing, that ancient astronaut theory thing. Well yeah, I kind of vaguely knew that, but I never knew that was his name. Because I was born in '64, so I grew up in the space age. We believed everything. We believed we'd be eating little pills for lunch. And it was very exciting. But you didn't... I think I just absorbed lots of stuff. So I did watch lots of Star Trek, and I watched as much telly as possible actually, but there wasn't that much to watch. So I didn't really link to the Creswell Crags to Star Trek, but we're talking about aliens and possible time travel. The idea of the rocks, just, my dad we used to watch, when we did watch telly together, any of the science fiction programs, he used to always say, oh, you can see the strings, it's trick photography. Yeah, you could see the strings, but, so I like the idea of making really shitty rocks. But then it's actually getting quite good. They did look much more authentic, Star Trek, before I put the purple on. The purple was just the night before. So the idea was, okay, Creswell Crags, we've got real rocks, we've got fake rocks, then what's the art and what's the plinth? What's the prop, what's the art? You know, who decides what art is? Yeah, it could be worth more money than to the right person. And we'll make it destruct. Get it over here. Okay, so that's where the rocks came from. And I They're quite relaxing after a day at work. After day at work again, there's nothing like PVA newspaper. Very, very relaxing. And while I was in my studio making either rocks or beings, because I was juggling the two, I started to do this making work for this show at the end of January. I was listening to music all the time to relax further. But I like music with no lyrics usually. And I have been listening to Radio 360 for quite a few years now. It used to just be on the internet, but it's on Mixcloud. That is of relevance to the sound in the video. Shall I tell you about it now? Yeah, I'll tell you about that. So, it's a film as well. So this is the first show where I've had beings, rocks, curtain, very important curtain, or people, shall we say, and a film too. So this is my first show that I would say brings it all together. Anyway, so the film, I didn't really know how it was going to work out, but I knew I was going to make a film. I knew it wasn't going to be very long, and you probably haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but we'll turn the sound up later on. The sound is really important to me anyway. So, listening to Radio 360, he does these podcasts, and they're called things like Music for Dining in Space, or Music for an Intergalactic Adventure, and things like that. And so sometimes you let them wash over you, and sometimes you think, look, well, I like that one. So while I was making the film, by that time I worked out that I was going to use sound from Radio 360. So then, anybody else know how to do? Basically, you have to go through, look at the playlist, find what they're playing by looking at the time that they're in the hour-long program, then try and find it on YouTube if you can, and then do clip converter to get it onto your computer and a bit more faffing around. So, and then it's not used the same way, so there's music blended over each other, or speeded up or slowed down. I think one of the reasons at the beginning was because I knew I also was going to have Star Trek sounds, and I had to cover them up a little bit, because Martin told me I couldn't, didn't you, Martin? So I've got some Star Trek sounds in there. And also on Radio 360, this is nice, this is how things happen, they're not actually planned. There's sometimes he puts on voiceovers, and I kept thinking, where's that creepy man's voice? It took me a little while to find out a creepy man's voice. It's Alan Watts, who was very, very famous in the 70s especially, and he sort of talked a lot about Eastern and Western philosophy, or Easternized Western thoughts, possibly. Sometimes the more you listen to them, the less you actually understand, it doesn't make that much sense. But a lot of people have used Alan Watts on YouTube videos as well, but they put their own music on, so I can't use their YouTube videos. So I have had to go and listen to his original lectures, and then snip out little bits, which is quite time consuming, and requires wine. So on my slideshow in the corner there's the photo, the screen, video editing, and glass of wine. Okay. The other thing that was really good about this show for me was I got an Arts Council grant, so it did make things possible to do something bigger than normal. I mean, the beans are smaller than normal for me, smaller ones, but it meant I could have this digital printed curtain, which I'm really chuffed about. And also it meant that I could pay my own son. A young, aspiring digital artist and excellent video editing trainer. So that was good, excellent. I wouldn't have managed to without you, Dominic. Or the film. At one point I was saying about the film, it can't be too good, otherwise people know I haven't made it. It can only be as good as I actually personally can make it. And so one thing that Dominic did was listen to me quite a lot, but not suggest too many things at all. So it's quite a lot of feeling your way through making a film. and he'd show me a couple of techniques and then go away for hours or be asleep for 24 hours or and in that time I'd huff to fumble my way around and do stuff. Then he'd come back and go, ooh, that's not what I expected. I didn't know what I was expecting either. So actually that's quite a nice way of working. Not interfering too much, I think, but also suggesting appropriately and at the right sort of pace. Okay, that's enough about the film, I think, but it's worth listening to Alan Watts. And I am not taking myself seriously. Although there's a lot of humour in my work, I do want people to take the work seriously. I do want you to realise that I'm not pole-faced. Oh no, because I'm wearing the right clothes for. So, somebody says, what's it like making the work? So I'm going to move a little bit again. I have no idea how long I'll be talking for. Probably too long. I could stand here and then point to both sides. Is that difficult?
Yeah, no, it's good. Anyway.
So this is the first being I made for this show. Well, to be honest, I called him Buddy, or Barbody, I'm not sure, for the show. But actually, I'm going to revert to the working title, which is Space Kitty. I didn't think it sounded serious enough about Space Kitty, but Space Kitty, obviously. It's obvious to me. So there are some photos, again, when you finish, if you want to watch the slideshow, it does show you a bit more in a little bit of an order, some snippets of making them, and maybe what's inside. But at any point, when I finish this video, ask me some questions about anything. I think I'd be happy to finish my blurb first. I think this one proves the point that I do work quite slowly, because I have to kind of decide if something's right or not. You have to live with something for a little while before you think, that's wrong. That's the change. So at one point, in the photo this shows, the base was half that width. It just was wrong. I think Dominic told me it was wrong as well. Actually. I think you said it was wrong. But I am quite good at, I don't worry about what other people think, I worry about what I think. So if I disagree with something, I just say, no, I like it that way. So, Space Kitty. This one's called Soothing Sloth for the show. But what I was making, called Naughty Pink Worm, actually. But that actually doesn't sound serious enough either, but I mean, I'm not that serious, I suppose. I know everybody wants to touch it, but I have got some handling objects around the corner. I did forget to bring some of these, though, in the car sometimes. But I'll tell you that these are brushes that you're supposed to use for cleaning the back of radiators, if you ever do that job. But they come in lots of different colours, and when I found this lovely grey, silvery colour, I have used them before for other beings. You can get them in red too.
I can use them to clear behind already.
So I said I work really quite slowly. I actually like working the pace I work, to be honest. It's okay for me. But all of these wrinkles on this pink body, they're actually all hand stitched. So for somebody that's got a very low boredom threshold, it's quite impressive that I can do this. But I do when I'm listening to things on the radio. However, the wrinkles were inspired by a little piece of fabric that size in our house that been hanging around since I was little. Because my mum used to teach lampshade making, and so we used to have lots of nice silk in our house, and the Dunfermline silk factory was near where I grew up. Anyway, this lovely little piece is just far too small to make anything with, so I recreated the surface by hand for Naughty Pink Worm. That conveniently leads me up to lampshade, so we might as well shift it on there.
What's naughty then?
I know, does it look like a lampshade? So, I didn't worry about this. Yeah. Have I lost anybody in the middle? It is possible to get in there. It looks quite nice to this coat. I also like, we said about stories. one that my mum was at one point making into a lampshade, but never finished. So I've had it knocking around my studio for a long time. So it's quite nice that I'm unpicking stuff that my mum's sewn to redo it. She doesn't mind. And although I wasn't sure about this being at all, these kids that come to this gallery have been really attractive to Tregelo. Really, because they think it's trampling. That's fine, I don't mind. So I quite like the fact that this one does seem to cool children mostly. Thinking of anything else I can tell you? I might mention that I do have materials that I use. I couldn't have them for a very long time, so obviously this lampshade I've had for ages. These little things are, there's one around the corner for you to touch. They're actually little sink drainers, and they're from the rag market in Birmingham, one of my favourite places to go. But I have had them for several years, and finally got used. So that does happen quite often. You don't know when you're going to use something. What else did I want to tell you? I wanted to say I do have quite a lot of fun while I'm making, but you might have guessed that already, just by calling one multi-pin one. And the slideshow, I think you might get the idea we have quite a lot of fun. There's a photo of Dominic and his friends, Bryn, when they came to visit, and they're playing with the eyes of, we might have to go back again, I'm thinking about this. We might have to do the circle.
All over again?
Yeah, just for a laugh. To Charmaine, I think we should do last a little bit to Charmaine, and then we'll finish. So let's continue the same direction, otherwise we're directing This is what the students at school left in my class. The reason I mentioned what the photo is a photo of Dominic and Bryn messing around with these lights. Are they reflectors from lights? I have no idea, but I got them from a really interesting shop in Walsall. It's more like a behind the scenes. I managed to get into people's places that are embarrassed by what they've still got. I get in there, and then we think of a number and give them some money occasionally. So yeah, really cool. Bob Orton's, if you want to go there in Walsall. And my cousin Mike told me about it, and my cousin Sally's here today. Yeah, oh, thanks Mike. He's up there, he's dead now. But helps. Okay, so talk about play. So Charmaine was the last thing to get finished for the show, and so much sewing, much more than what we call it you, not a big one. Much more, and I knew it was going to happen in the end, but it was taking such a long time to get this sewing done. So literally a couple of nights before the show was set up, I was stitching this piping on, and I said to Dominic, oh my gosh, I'm making a dodgy air hostess uniform, haven't I? Because things happen subliminally. Things happen. These are the perfect Pan Am colours. They are. And Jen will know why this thing is called Charmaine. There's a lady I was working with who was a bit glammy, and I knew that when I did her eyes, she was going to be glamtastic, in my opinion. So that's why Charmaine is Charmaine. She is a space trolley dolly with Pan Am colours. And the slideshow, you'll see Mr. T, because Mr. T is called Mr. T, two reasons. One is he does look like a tortoise, but he is also blingy like Mr. T from the A-Team. So we've got Mr. T from the A-Team on my slideshow. But handily, Pauline's standing there. So Pauline, my wonderful friend, gave me this black vintage black weather. And she's been storing, maturing my fine wine for all these years for me to use. So that's the story about Mr. T. I think I have covered just about everything I need to cover, and it's a whole half hour. Closing comment, Joanne Lee, who written the essay for the show, she also is paid by the Arts Council, so she's mentoring me during this period. She can't come today, but she's got a very good reason. But she did say to me, because I've always said, I just want to make people laugh. And she said, well, what kind of humour are you aiming for? What kind of humour? So I think I've decided the humour is that the kind of that warm glow, oh, that feels good. The kind of humour that makes the world seem so much more uplifting, fun, and generally interesting to be in. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, peeps. And now, refreshments, and you can ask any questions if you feel like it, or as you're a privileged guest, you can climb in here and view from the inside. And I'll turn the sound back up as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
At last you find yourself in the eternal now. You are released into reality.
You've got half an hour. Oh, I'm on top. Computer going credits. In terms of just smart.
We're doing 360 a national radio, a local online. Yeah. So some interesting stuff on it.
It's one of those kind of podcasty radio shows that got out on SoundCloud, streaming sites now. Which is the way
This is the only real time. There is no past. Because it all begins here. This is where the creation begins.
It's just Cresswell cracks we're looking at here, and there's some. Are we looking at Cresswell cracks somehow?
Yeah, parts of this is all footage from the inside the caves.
Yeah. It is very, very good actually. Is this your work?
I did the camera holding, but all of the editing is done by Mum. Like, I showed her how to do things that she wanted to do, but nothing else.
What sort of software are we using for this?
Premiere Pro.
They wanted to know
You know, Adobe Premiere Pro.
what is the fundamental substance. Whether there is an architect of the universe.
7-8 minutes. Do the speakers,
That there are no such things as things. What do you mean by a thing?
film it. And I was like, this piece of fabric is so cool. It's good. We're going to be able to use that. So like 50 meters square, maybe 56 meters square. Yeah, digital. It's not a scene. It doesn't look like a scene. 20 meters long. 20 meters long. 2.5 meters wide. It's like 700 feet. It's 700 feet. Yeah, but you can buy this for that. That's great, isn't it?
A myth is an image, in terms of which we try to make sense.
I'm really impressed. Yeah, it's really neat.
Just talking about this fabric. Just 20 piece of fabric. No seam. It's gorgeous. It's really great.
So, this is going to Australia at the moment, is it?
Yeah,
Will it be going?
there's 3 people watching it.
It's going out.
I think we got up to 6 people watching it at one point.
But lots of people come in and
They're watching it.
so it's like it's been seen
We
by
are
200 people.
these terms.
It's been seen by at least 50s, 20s.
That's what I'm saying. People have come to see it.
Watched it. It's like that group we watched it released a documentary, so we watched it live through Facebook and just sat there in like 40 minutes in the kitchen, just like because it was on.
This is great, actually. Again, on a bigger screen. Because I was thinking I could use a bigger screen too.
Because at last you find yourself in the center, the eternal now. You are released into reality.
Credited. Technical assistant.
That's good, actually.
That was well nice.
I really liked it. Yeah, that's great.
Well, I'm going to go into the building movement.
I love these rocks, as your mum was saying. Just like the things out of
Yeah,
you know,
proper old school.
Star Trek.
Yeah, proper old school.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to move the car, I think, and probably have a flag.
Can I go and do that 5 minutes?
Yeah. I'm going to have a flag outside for us.
You've done well.
Thank you. I'll come and talk to you in a bit.
Now, there are no such things as things. What do you mean by a thing?
So then, what this is here, because that is that.
Got you.
Obvious to me, it's obvious to me. So that's why I brought it. Never here. Yeah, that's to show me where so that's what it looks like. Getting into the moment. What's a charity show? Bye bye.
There's an essay.
Who's Joanne May?
A professor at Sheffield University. Thank you very much for watching Deep Space Moolog. We're going to end now.